How do? I'm Melby! You bastard, you! And welcome to me crib. Come on! This is the lift that transports me to me flat. Stinks of piss. Come on, come this way. It's Bannister anyway.
If you wanna be my lover.
This is living room. Right, shithole. Up toys that way. That's our Phoenix, that. Come here, you bastard. There's a brick on table. You never know when you might need an house brick, eh? Rough round here. Come through me saloon doors.
Really wanna zig a zig, ah.
This is kitchen, where I like to do a bit of cooking. We've got a pan of korma here. I'll eat that up later on for our Phoenix. Stick it in a bottle, you know. Come on, come this way. Ooh, show you upstairs. Okay, here's Bannister. Don't get me grapes. Oh, here's bathroom, where I wash me tits. There's no worse than a woman with mucky tits. Don't you think? Dirty tits. This is my lodger's room. Dennis, are you working late?
Yeah, working nights.
Well, I'll tell our Phoenix to keep it down. Hard worker, this lad. Wagon driver. Wants to be a dancer, though. When I get band back together, I'll give him a job. 'Cause now and again we do a bit of fucking. These are my sleeping quarters. I've had all sorts in here. Just clean me knickers up. Crab paste. Look at coaster above bed. I used to have a massive house back then. As big as a fucking shopping centre it was. Sky Digital in every room. If I had Sky Digital, why would it go up here? Look at view. You can see everything from here. There's a little lad having his BMX nicked off him. Leave him alone, you little bastard. I know your dad. All that with me crib. I hope you've enjoyed yourself. And I hope that I've said Sky Digital enough for them to send me it for now. Oh, me hair.
Hello, one and all. How are we doing? Let's have a look in the comments. Who's in? Hobbs, you right? Dobbs, Sir William, Jason. I expect more will be coming in shortly. I didn't get round to doing my albums for 1982 on Ian's. I'm quickly just going to show a few. You right, Randy? Yeah, 1982. I've only got a few here. Just want to quickly show, in case Ian is watching. I said I was going to show a few of them. Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Long After Dark, of course, came out in 1982. Roxy Music, Avalon, brilliant album. And we also have, I've got a recent pickup here, Dexy's Midnight Runners 2 Ray. So, yeah, this one. Yeah, this was a charity shop buying quite recently, actually, like a couple of quid. So, not bad, not bad. And of course, the biggest selling album of all time, Michael Jackson's Thriller, came out in 82. That's it for now. I mean, I've got other albums hidden away, you know. So I just want to show a few just to complete that little bit. You're right, Ian. So yeah, how's it going then? Put the Dexys on the needle drop. Yeah, I could actually. I could do that. Won't be in this live stream though. Might do a needle drop later on though. I really need to catalogue all my vinyl. Well, you can use Discogs for that. One way of doing it. I think I've got like some of my collection on Discogs, but then I gave up. I think like later on. Is that the album with the song about the girl with one leg? Come on, Eileen. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's the big hit on there. Yes. Side B, right at the end. Yeah, I don't know if there's any other hits other than that on here. I'm not too familiar with their hits, but I know that was their big one. That's why I picked it up. Ian Simon, waiting for my computer to finish and update, so bear with me. Yeah, no worries. You shouldn't give up on Discogs, mate. It's good for insurance purposes. Yeah, I should really go on there and excuse me, and update my my collection. Been a couple of years now. Probably let a few of them go and brought some new ones in over that time. Yes, Sir William, honorary UK VC. Evening, Mike. You don't understand it. How you can just sit there typing all your records. What's the point? Well, I suppose once you've done it, I know it's a bit time consuming, but like if you wanted to sell some of them or whatever later on, you know, they're all sort of sitting there ready to go. So it's got its pros and cons, I suppose. Plus, you can like accurately get the right pressing on there if you sort of do your research and look up the right ones. You can compare what you have and what they're worth, and you know, even if you just wanted to sort of catalog them for your own purpose, you know, your own way of looking them up. I mean, I record a lot of mine to my computer as well, so you know, a lot of my well, I'll say probably about half of my vinyl, if that, is on my on a hard drive in like MP3 format. So I have that as well. But I still need to do the rest of my collection at some point. But it's so time consuming recording music. Yeah, especially if there's no barcode. Yeah, sort of like when barcodes came out, what was it, 79, I think barcodes came out. So after then it's okay, but before then, you start looking up all the details. You know, even then it can be difficult. I love cataloging on Discogs. I can access any part of my collection at a touch of a button. There is that, yeah, there is that. No, it isn't an accurate representation, but it gives you an idea. You know, they sort of have a low to medium to high value, so it's, you know, you have a rough idea. You know, if you look at like the lowest value, then like, you know, it's at least like worth that, at least, you know. But like, you know, selling records in bulk, you're not going to get as much for them, you know, if you would do separately. Records are a hard sell, I think. You know, it takes ages to sell records. You know, if you got the patience, it's okay. But let's say you just needed to quickly get a couple of grand behind you or something like that. You know, do you sell them in bulk, or do you sort of take advantage of that kind of cash grab? Depends how desperate you are, I suppose. But I mean, I wouldn't want to sell my collection off, just like that. I would like to get something what I pay for them at least, 'Cause I've got records here which, 30, 40, 50 quid. You want that back. You don't want to sort of miss out on that. It's a lot of money. How long would it take you to do 2,000 records on Discogs? Quite a long time, I would have thought. Oh yeah, it would. Yeah, yeah. It's something you'd probably have to do daily for, like, I don't know, 10, 20 minutes before you just become so bored out of your skull, just keep doing them, like, daily. Breaks it down then, and eventually you would get there. Yeah, probably. Probably. I know he likes to listen into the Brits. So yeah, he's probably lurking. I like to lurk. I don't mind. It don't bother me. Mazzy's all right. He's okay. Buy to keep. I don't sell. I give away to friends. The things I get rid, or I find myself with 2 copies. Yeah, I tend to give a lot away to various people and whatever. Donate some, sell some, BCLT some. I like to give people something rather than sell all the time. If someone can, if I knew somebody who would appreciate it, maybe somebody who started a record collection or something like that, who would, like, really appreciate some, pretty decent records, or just like half decent. I think, that it's appreciated, isn't it? Just to sort of set them on their way. I told my kids to sell my collection for a good price when I'm dead. And if they fail, I come back to haunt them. Yeah, I mean, I'd say to my partner or my kids, sell my stuff, you know, just get whatever you can for them. When my father died, like, he had all, like, these books. They're quite like a nice little library of books. They told me, like, when I pass away, Si, I want you to sort of sell them, I want you to do that. And I was like, okay, but, like, I couldn't do it. I couldn't sell them. Partly because of, like, sentimental value. The attachment he would have had to them was a thing, and the time involved selling books. I mean, books have got to be a hard sell. I think, I know some of them had a bit of value, but I couldn't do them in the end, and I just bagged them all up and took them to a charity shop where I thought, at least it would go to a good cause, at least. So I mean, he's probably up there now, frowning upon the fact that I'd done that, but it was just too much. I think you would understand. Oh, do like these ciders, Thatcher's cloudy lemon cider. They're rather nice. Do like a cider. Yep, I hear you, Simon. 100% correct. You are. I'll wait till people jump on board before I start showing any sitcoms or anything. Just sort of hang out here in the chat for a bit. I'd be buried with my Signed Skunk and Nancy promo poster. No one's getting that. Yeah. It's hard to let go, isn't it? You got things which are so precious to you. It's something we all have to succumb to in the end, though, isn't it? You know, what do physical things matter in the end? They don't, do they? You know, what's important is your family, you know. I remember, like, when my dad was diagnosed, he had like 6 months, and he was looking into planning everything to sort of be okay, you know, like the money and everything else to you know, be transferred into my mum's account and this kind of thing. All sorts of things he was planning to make things as smooth as possible. It was like that, my dad. Sent me a Facebook request a couple of days ago. If it's a private family friends account, I understand. I know some people prefer not to add all and sundry. It is private, but yeah, I will add you. I'm not really a big user of Facebook. I used to be, probably about, I don't know, near 10 years ago maybe. I used to use it a bit, but I couldn't deal with it in the end. It was just getting on my nerves. So I came off and just not looked back. But I do check now and then, like, you know, in case people message me and stuff. So I'll have a look. I'm a bit of a dormant user on there, but I am on there. I've kept like my YouTube stuff completely separate to other forms of social media. You know, and I don't have anything else. I don't have Instagram or anything like that. Mainly use Facebook for immediate family and the odd miscreant like Jimmy Barnes. Yes, that's what I do really. Just use it for mainly family and friends. A few work colleagues are on there. I rarely ever go on there now. I heard someone was saying from work that the system has been it went down and it basically went back up and everything was basically like gone, like everything was blank. Don't know if it's still like that. No idea. Presumably it's all back up and running. Facebook is pretty terrible. Yes, it's more for contacting purposes really between us streamers of good part of the VC. I think when Facebook came out, it was sort of after like MySpace and Friends Reunited. And it was easy and it's convenient to use, wasn't it? Facebook, and of course it started to sort of get popular, and it happens sort of just after a few years after when I left school, and I imagine it would have been the same for Jimmy. So it came at the right time for people of our ages. So it was kind of good to go on there and sort of hook up with old schoolmates and stuff. And then everyone wants to sort of friend you, just even people not necessarily friends as such. They just, because they know you, they want to sort of friend you. I guess it's a popularity contest, isn't it? In a way, people seem to treat it like that. Once they friend you, that's it. You have no other need for communication, so you don't. But they're just on there. There's people It's odd, isn't it? The VC died. You think so? Is the VC dead? MySpace was an absolute eyesore. Looking back, I don't know why it got so popular. I think it was the only sort of thing there, wasn't it, at the time? There wasn't a lot else going, was there? But no, it was crap, wasn't it, really? Then it went bust, didn't it? Friends Reunited, yeah, in the early 2000s. Yeah, I think I did use it. I think I may have used it. I can't remember. I know I used MySpace. VC is not dead. New blood is taking over. Yes, we are the new breed. We are indeed. Some of my classmates featured on Crime Watch UK. Oh my god, that's what you want, isn't it? Let's see how Dave's doing. Oh look, he's on Crime Watch, robbing a bank. Oh, that's not so good. Fave channel on here. Fave channel. I don't really have a favourite channel. I watch a bit of everybody. I watch the sort of people I interact with. But there is so many people in the vinyl community. You can't watch everything. So I just watch a group of people who I'm in cahoots with. So and that varies, from all sorts of people one week to the other. So I don't get to watch many YouTube videos as I'd like. With working full time and kids as well, and it's I'm a bit limited to who and what I can watch. It's all right, if you're retired and you've got loads of time, you can sort of absorb a lot of it. But I'm into other stuff as well. I like to watch movies. I like to listen to music, and depends what I'm in the mood for, really. I don't call out my favorite channels anymore. It's unfair to the ones I don't mention. Yeah, I think the same. Yeah, we don't mention certain people, and they might take offense to it. That is true. Yeah, but we know who likes to probe at those kind of questions, don't we? Put you on the spot. Michael Noland, if the content is interesting to me, even if I don't necessarily like the person, I'll watch. Yeah. If Content is good, you know. Content is key, you know. What is worth watching? What is worth watching? You know, I'm not really like a Beatles obsessed fan or anything, so that doesn't really appeal to me, you know. I know enough about vinyl now. You know, when I sort of started, I was watching a lot of videos, trying to sort of gather up as much information as I can. But now I know enough now. I know about like audiophile pressings and all sorts of things which I didn't have a clue about before. Not that that really appeals to me all that much, but you know, it's nice to know like it has that kind of elitism. You know, if you want the very best, it is there. You know, so I didn't even know it was a thing. I think I was looking up like turntables, what sort of turntable, you know, would be good to get, you know, and sort of albums on vinyl, you know, which might not necessarily be as common on CDs. You know, I've had CDs. We've had CDs for the last 30 odd years, haven't we? Since the early 80s. Although they didn't start to take off until like a few years later on, did they? Sort of maybe mid to late 80s, really. And I didn't really start buying CDs till about 98, around about that sort of time. But since 98, I've been picking up CDs. But expensive at the time, weren't they? I mean, like 12 quid, some of them, weren't they? Brand new, maybe 16 quid, and the likes of our price. Was it Virgin Records, wasn't it? Was a thing. We had Woolworths. I found Woolworths quite cheap for stuff like that. Smiths were always expensive. You go in Smiths now, and you never see anything like that, do you? It's all stationery. You never see like all the DVDs and stuff they used to sell. Even DVDs, Christ, like some of those DVDs, you know, they used to be like 20 odd quid in the 2000s. Now, you know, people give them away. You pick them up for like 50p for, oh yeah, 50p virtually, aren't you, these days? People just don't want them. I kind of do like physical media though. I'm not going to be someone who just streams everything because you're just renting, you know. It has its benefits. I suppose if you can afford it, it's okay. You know, you can collect and you can do that at the same time, can't you? But it never really appeals to me. I like to have my own stuff. You know, I like to have it there. You know, that's why I'm like ripping all my DVDs and Blu-rays to my computer. You know, I've got all my music on one hard drive as well, and that has basically all my CD collection. A lot of my records, which I've recorded, are on there. A lot of my tapes I've recorded onto a hard drive. I like to have my own things, you know, even if it is on a hard drive, at least, you know, I have access to it. I haven't got to pay anymore, you know. And I think if I had Spotify, I'd just be overwhelmed with the amount of like music. You know, where do you start? I get that, like sometimes when I go into a record shop and there's just like records everywhere and everywhere, and you just think you kind of know what you want in your head, but you kind of go in there, you just forget, don't you? You just forget what am I after, you know, and you just all like this like noise you see on the walls, you know, like white noise of all the pictures and all the albums and stuff, and it's just like, whoa, this is cool. I want everything. think normally I just go in and I look pretty much at the new arrivals. I think that's the first thing a lot of people do is go into the new arrivals. That's a good place to start when you go into like a shop like that, record shop. And then, like, if you can't find anything there, sort of go explore whatever genres you're interested in. You know, whether it's albums or 12-inch singles or 7-inch singles. You know, I tend not to like explore the whole shop. I just do like maybe one section or a few sections of a shop, and then maybe go back like a fortnight later and have a look again in different areas. That's the way I normally do it. You normally find, if you're regularly going to a place, you can normally find what you want in the new arrivals pretty quickly. You know, you got to get in there fast before people snap them up. When you start seeing CDs in like these shops and they're like £3-4 each, that puts me off. I just think, no, I'm not paying that for CDs. You know, I think, you know, if you look around in a charity shop, you'll find the same CD for £1 if you're lucky. You know, I'm not paying that kind of money for CDs anymore. Might buy something off eBay, you know, for a couple of quid or whatever, and you know, if it's something particular I'm after, I'll go on the likes of eBay and buy it off there. But I don't go into record shops and look at the CDs and buy a load, because you just get ripped off. You just pay way too much for them. Vinyl's okay, but not CDs. Right, Simon, I'm all sorted. Kindly furnish me with an invite, Simon, and I shall be with you. Okie dokie. I'll do that. Stick it in the comments. I find since I've been watching the VC stuff that I'm rediscovering old stuff I've forgotten about. Yeah, it's often the case. You're right, Ian.
Yark.
Looking forward to your weekend.
Yeah, I am actually.
We've got Jimmy here as well. You're right, Jimmy.
Hi, Simon. Hi, Ian. You up?
Yeah, I'm good. All good.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah, I listened to the new Judas Priest album on Spotify today.
Any good?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. You're right, Mike.
Oh yeah.
How you doing?
Yes, I had it on Spotify, but because I've got a Bluetooth thing, I can take it off my phone and put it through my new system. So it's just like listening to the vinyl. It's loud, it's heavy, and it was just great. Like I listened to the new Beavis Fronda album again. I cannot stop putting that on.
You love Beavis from, don't you? I've never heard of them until
It's Mike's fault.
It's not my fault.
It is.
Maybe.
Yes, I had a bit of a Beavis Fronda afternoon, actually. I put on the two that you sent to me as well. So I've had a bit of a Beavis Fronda afternoon.
Oh, brilliant.
Doing all the jobs that I normally do on Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm knackered.
I haven't brought much musically recently. I've not brought anything.
Well, I brought that few bits last week at the record fair. That's it, really.
Yeah.
How much money you saved up for Leeds then, Ian?
Ooh, that'll be telling. People might pop me. No, I've got a few pennies that I saved.
Good.
Yeah, I don't like to go. I've got cash as well because, as we said last night, you can get better deals with cash.
Exactly. Yeah.
Randy wants to know what you're drinking, Ian.
What am I drinking? Cloudy IPA. It's nice.
Nice.
Not having too many. That might be my lot tonight.
Hey, what time's Nick picking you up tomorrow then?
It's between 7 and 8:30.
Oh, lucky man.
That's all right. I usually get up about that time, so I've just got to get up about an hour earlier.
Right.
I don't think Rocky will want to go out for a walk though. He'll just
So who's looking after Rocky then?
My ex is coming to. He's going to spend his day with his mum, which he won't mind because he'll get lots of fuss and everything. Yeah. It's funny, you know. I have him, but she comes and sees him and looks after him and does everything like that. You know, whatever happens, you know. He's still his mum, and you know he needs to see her.
Oh, good stuff then.
Yeah, I found something today when I was clearing out. I don't know if you can see it. It's one of these 3D skills that moves.
Oh, these
hot
brown things.
Yeah.
So where did you get that then?
I brought that in America. Oh, can't remember which trip it was. I think it might have been when I was in Orlando.
All right.
I think it was at Universal Studios.
Yeah.
You buy this odd stuff, don't you?
Well, that's it. Yeah. Yeah, it was probably exciting, state of the art when you bought it, wasn't it?
Oh yeah. It's not now, but it sits on top of the iPod thing at the moment. Indian Pale Ale. I don't know what it is. I just poured it out the tin. I weren't particularly looking when I poured it. Well, I could have this comedy thing. I could have picked up about 15. I could have picked up Yes Minister to Show. I could have bought Thick of It. Hello. It ain't our fault, Mum. Tony Hancock.
Yeah, I know. There's so many you could show.
Dinner Ladies. The Thin Blue Line. There's just so many.
Yeah. I mean, there's a couple like which are everyone's favourite, which I'm not going to show because they're not necessarily my go-tos, although they're like really great comedies and considered maybe the best. They're not necessarily the ones I like to sort of repeatedly watch, you know?
Yeah, I don't know if it is a sitcom or not. So I'll show them at the end and then we can discuss, is it a sitcom or not?
I've picked a couple that I think are maybe, well, one of them certainly under the radar, the other one not so much, but I doubt it's many people's favourite, but it is one of mine. I've tried to do it, like I've tried to pick one from the 70s, one from the 80s, and one from the 90s as well. But the 80s one's pretty obvious, really.
All right, yeah.
Oh, see, Mike's guessed it already. Thanks, Mike.
I think I know.
I might not have done, might I? I mean, it could be something completely different. Yeah, I've been watching a sitcom from early 70s that I haven't seen for a while. So yeah, I can remember that it was a really big thing when I was at school. You know, everybody watched it. You had to watch it every week. You know, because of course, you know, days before videotape even, wasn't it? So if you didn't watch it when it was on, you missed it.
I remember lots of them.
I've got a few like sketch shows as well, which don't class as sitcoms. So
yeah, I've thought about grabbing a few, but then I thought, no, I'll stick to sitcoms. I don't want to, you know, take over, as it were. I mean, I've stuck to 3. I know you said show as many as you want, but I don't want to monopolise. So
And I got some
I mean,
like.
would you
dramas
class
as
The
well.
Goodies as sitcom?
no, not really.
No, but they
It's-
are half-hour
it's
shows.
Yeah, it's sketches, isn't it? Goodies, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, no, there were stories, weren't there? They did.
Mm.
It was usually Graham coming up with some crackpot idea.
I always find the hardest ones to kind of categorise is stuff like the day-to-day, which, and I suppose even knowing me, knowing
definitely
you.
not a sitcom. It's satirical. It's satirical comedy, isn't it?
I mean, I suppose it's
not.
close.
It's not a
It's
sitcom
closer
at
to
all.
a sketch show than a sitcom, certainly. But I wouldn't call it an outright sketch show either. So,
Well, no, but it's certainly not a sitcom. I don't think I'd ever have
no,
thought,
I know.
it's
It's like it's finding the right category for it.
I mean, I think something like Drop the Dead Donkey, that was a sitcom.
Well, yeah.
Because it's sort of like people they're in the same place every week, aren't they? And and it's kind of continuing.
It's easily definable, something like that. But for me, day to day, it's like, well, it's more sketch show than sitcom, certainly. But I wouldn't say it's a sketch show exclusively.
You're right, Stancy.
Hello, Mike. Hello, Simon.
Oh yeah.
How you doing?
Ian. Hello, Jimmy.
Hello. Sorry, I don't know you, but I'll say hello because we said it first.
First time I see you.
I know the name.
If you've never met him, you certainly know the names, don't he?
Oh yeah, everyone knows the names, don't they, on the VC?
Everyone
Yeah.
knows Stancy,
Do they?
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I might do like some other showcasing. I've got a few ideas, of like film related stuff. I might do something on Michael Caine, like Michael Caine movies, James Bond movies, British gangster films, sketch shows, all sorts of ideas. I might do some movie soundtracks, later on. But loads of ideas. I've written a list of things I could do,
Yeah, you could get quite a bit of overlap there, couldn't you? Sort of particularly I was thinking, Michael Caine and gangster movies.
You could, yeah. It's quite easily done. I might do some like, movies from the 60s or 70s or something like that, where you'll get like overlap as well. It's inevitable, really, but yeah. I might do a TV series one as well. Just sort of like plain TV series.
Yeah, because there's some that are funny, but they're not sitcoms, are they? An example is Jeeves and Wooster. That's not sitcom, but it's a very, very funny
Comedy drama, isn't it? That.
Yeah.
Look at that. Talking about Michael Caine. This is the Get Carter theme, but like covered by Jai Wobble.
All right.
Oh, that's brilliant.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So it gets a little bit more, even more, mellow and dub, obviously. And that's one of the greatest theme of British movies, in my opinion, anyway. So that's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about Get Carter, my the sitcom that I've been watching recently, that's set in Newcastle. So what do you think it is?
I like it. I know what it is.
I'd hazard to guess. Now you said Newcastle.
Lightly, lads.
Go on then.
Simon just said it. I was going to make the joke answer and say Biker Grove, but no, I think it's likely.
What? What? What do you know what sitcom is, Jimmy?
Biker Grove?
I said it was going to go to the joke answer.
Yeah. No, it's whatever happened to Lightly Lads.
That's what I just said.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Simon,
yeah.
like you say, Simon said it, so I thought, well, I might as well go for Biker Grove then, because he
Yeah,
said
sorry I
the
didn't
right
hear you,
answer.
Simon.
Oh, okay.
Do you know
Yeah.
what
That's
my
not
favourite
right,
episode
Biker
of that
Grove.
is when Bob and Terry are trying to avoid the football result.
Yeah, it's the best episode. That's Brian Glover's in that. He's the mate that's following him around Newcastle.
I'm trying to tell them it.
You
And the
know,
other one I like is when they're burying, I think, is it Terry's uncle, and he sets the cremation box.
yeah, yeah.
Anyway,
But
Mike,
the football one. When they're trying to avoid the football result all day because highlights are on at sort of like 10 o'clock at night. And they have to go all the way, don't they, from a sort of midday kickoff all the way through, avoiding this guy. And those stupid little Geordie man boys, Ant and Dec, sort of did a kind of word for word sort of remake of that.
they did, didn't they?
And I don't know why they did it. First of all, just because you come from Newcastle, it doesn't give you the right to sort of mess with classic British sitcom. And secondly, it doesn't really work anymore, does it? As a situation, because you get your football, you get a lot of live football, you get you can watch it online whenever you want to. But back in the day, all you got was highlights late at night. Yeah.
You remember on the news, if you don't want to know the score,
Oh bloody hell, yeah.
If you don't want to know the score, look
But
away.
the worst thing you could do is be watching the news on the other side, just before you're watching the highlights, because they'd always guarantee to give it away, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Did you want to kick this off then, Mike, about sitcoms?
Yeah, well, as I say, sort of like whatever happened to the Likely Lads. I mean, that was, an absolute classic. But it's Dick Clement and Ian Lafrene, so it's going to be good, isn't it? Because there are a lot of really, really good sort of British sitcom sort of comedy sort of partnerships, aren't there? And I mean, Croft and Perry, I think, are probably the best, because you've got Dad's Army, you've got Heidi High, haven't you?
It Ain't Tough Hot Mum.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Who wrote Hello, Hello, Hello? Was that David Croft and Jimmy Perry?
I can't remember now.
It's at least one of them, weren't it? And sometimes one of them would write with someone else, wouldn't it? I always forget the other guy.
Yeah. I think that's it. Hello, Hello probably had more catchphrases than any other sitcom.
Yeah, I mean, I could have showed that tonight because I've got them all, but there are some really interesting ones. Like, was it Sam Kelly's when it was Hitler? It wasn't Hitler. Go, "Lop."
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
on my camera, but it's
making out there.
Yeah. You get a bit psychedelic. Yeah.
Yeah, hang on, I'll come out and come back. We have got a technical glitch here. Stop cam.
All right.
So what else
Anyway,
are the Likely Lads than Mike?
Yeah. I mean, I think the good thing about Likely Lads is that the great actors, weren't they?
They were, yeah.
James Bolam and Rodney Bewes, and I think they're a great great double act. And and the situation itself was really, really sort of quite well crafted, wasn't it? That they were sort of working class lads that had sort of gone their separate ways. That Terry had gone into the army for 5 years, and sort of Bob had stayed at home and found a sort of middle class girlfriend, and he was working in Dad's sort of building firm, and he had these sort of aspirations to be middle class. And Terry, when he came back to Newcastle, just thought Bob was a class traitor. And then there's that sort of thing that Bob's always in the middle, isn't he? That he's got his loyalties to his fiancée Thelma, and he's got his loyalty to his old best mate. Yeah. And I think that's what makes a good sitcom. That the underlying situation is just sort of perfect, isn't it?
He slowly turns into Terry, doesn't he? As that series progresses, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's right. Because at the start of it, sort of, he doesn't really want Terry back at all.
No.
Because it's just gonna mess up his life. But but as you say, very quickly, it's sort of things sort of gravitate towards Terry, and
When
he
they
starts.
put on those slides and there's Terry with the drink and that, and they're like,
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. Because Thelma says something like, "What could possibly ruin our evening?" And then the slide comes up of Terry, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Have any of you guys watched the new this new series called The Completely Made Up Adventures of Dick Turpin?
No, I haven't.
No, I haven't seen that. So who's in that then, Stunty?
Yeah, it's I think it's with one of the two guys from the Mighty Bush, and
Right.
it's actually pretty good. It's about a guy who's like a highwayman.
Yeah.
And it's like the 18th century, and it's surrealistic comedy and very British, but a bit nice. Not, it could be a little bit nastier, but I didn't like too much the Mighty Bush, but this one so far 3 episodes, and I'm in.
Yeah. So which one is it? Is it Noel Fielding?
Yeah.
He was my favourite. I mean, the Mighty Boosh, it was just sort of like their kind of surreal sort of world, and you had to buy into it, didn't you, to really appreciate.
And I tried,
really
and
get
I
into it.
understand it, but
Yeah. I must say, I used to love it, and it was just so surreal. I preferred the first series when they were working in a zoo.
Yeah.
I thought that was the best.
The thing is, like, it was also a music show. Like, they were like being an indie band at the same time, and it's just the music was not doing it for me, I guess. And it was almost like a parody of a parody in a way. Like, but in this case, it's like very Mighty Bush, but no music. So.
Oh right, yeah. I'll give it a go then.
Yeah. It's been for me like a British TV series is like the best thing I've ever seen in my life. All types of fiction TV is Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy and Smiley's Heroes. No, Smiley's
Smiley's People, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is that what it's called? Smiley's People.
Smiley's People. Yeah. Smiley's People is for me the best TV ever.
Yeah. I think that's great. The novels are really good as well. John le Carré is a great sort of writer.
Yeah, but there's like lots of I'm really into all spy stuff, and like the John Huston one, the Spy from the North or the East. It's kind of cheesy, but it's actually pretty good. It's also John le Carré, but I mean, it seems that right now, spy fiction, like the real world is like, fiction can't compete with the real world right now.
I think you're right. I think you're dead right there. Yeah, sort of like you couldn't make it up. Like that balloon over the United States. You remember that?
Yeah.
Over China, and you think, what the hell?
Let's explain to Dave, the pickup artist, that Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy was not a movie. It was a TV series. Then it was a Swedish movie.
It became a movie, but it was BBC television series.
What did you? I really hated the movie. I thought like it was like the blueprint. The story was like the blueprint of what it should have been. Everything in between was missing. But people seem to like it. But also maybe people didn't see the original.
It wasn't a patch on the series. The series had so much more in it.
Yeah,
and the film couldn't have that level of detail in it, could it? Really?
Yeah. Well, exactly. You've got 6 or 7 hours, is it? In series.
Like Stunty, I do like a lot of spy stuff. I mean, I lean towards James Bond, really, which is obviously a lot more kind of glamorous. But
Yeah.
I do like the series, you know, the John le Carré adaptations, because they're a bit more sort of slow paced, really, and not in a bad way. I mean, slow paced.
Oh yeah, that's how it should be.
Yeah. But also sort of like you know, I think John le Carré brings out the sort of the kind of amorality of spying. You know, these aren't good guys. These guys that sort of will do what needs to be done to achieve their ends, and you know, and I think what's an early le Carré, Spy Who Came In From the Cold.
Yeah. That was,
where they use a young woman who's a sort of an activist and a sort of you know, peace activist, and sort of she's got a bit of sort of an affinity with sort of Eastern Europe, and they kind of use her to sort of you know, get what they want, you know, and she ends up sort of being killed trying to get across the Berlin Wall. But you know, they just don't really, you know, they really don't care about it. You know, it's sort of means to an end. You know, and you know, and that's what I like about it. You know, it's more sort of you know, it's not so sort of black and white. Whereas sort of like James Bond, you know, he's a good guy, isn't he? And he can do what he likes, and nobody really cares. You know, sort of the kind of rights and wrongs of it.
There was a show, a British show last year. It was running 2 seasons. It was about how people were live deep faking TV. And it was like obviously about counter-terrorism and all that, and was about like a young soldier who was accused of murdering his girlfriend, and it was all completely made up, but there was no way. They completely refabricated live. And at one point, one of the Tory minister is trying to change the story live on like the news, and you see both like what's going on, and that there's a live deep fake of him that everyone in the country sees that contradicts everything he's saying. And it was pretty good, but like it was really just telling us how like we have no idea how right now how our world is working, like because we know that fiction is always behind a little bit, so like ooh.
Oh God, yeah, I know. When you get into that position where you can never believe that what you're seeing is 100% true, you know, then it can be a bit frightening, can't it?
Never seen 40 Towers.
Oh, well, you got a treat, Martin. You know,
Is that the
only
Monty
12
Python?
episodes, 40 hours is brilliant.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
show and a half, that is.
yeah,
It's the Monty Python, right?
yeah. It's John Cleese. Yeah,
I've actually, that is my blind spot. I almost make a point of not liking the Monty Python. I know that it's in the UK, it's like anathema, but it's a kind of humor that really doesn't work for me. But British humor tends to really work with me as fiction, British fantasy and all that. But I don't know. Like, I got
Ian. Now you're back. Sort this French chap out. Well, you were saying you don't like Monty Python. Go on, give us a slap, you know.
I can.
I can because I can't stand The Office. I think it's a load of tripe. There's nothing funny about it. I don't like, what's that? The one Gavin and whatever.
Gavin and Stacey. Yeah, the thing James Corden in it. Is that
about as funny as a kick in the nuts. I don't find him a funny at all.
Seeing someone get kicked in the bollocks is pretty funny, though, isn't
it? Yeah, definitely him. He's just. I just can't.
Wait. Ian, did you happen to be a manager at one point in your career?
Yeah, sort of. Yes.
That's why you don't like The Office.
I just don't like Ricky Gervais as. I don't find him funny. I really don't find that man funny.
Yeah.
I mean, on great writers and great sitcoms, you see, because of the age, and I just don't find modern sitcom interesting. I love the IT crowd or the IT crowd.
Oh yeah,
that was fantastic. and I do like. I don't know if it's a sitcom, but it's that Clunk, the history with Clunk. That is just brilliant.
What's her name? Yeah, she. Oh, God, what's on Diane Morgan, isn't it?
Yeah, Diane Morgan.
Philomena Clunk. Yeah,
that is just brilliant.
You know the guy in The Office, the tall redhead guy, the actor who writes The Office with Ricky Gervais. What's his name again?
Stephen.
Yes,
Stephen Marchant.
Stephen Marchant.
He's in a British sitcom. There's like 3 series and 3 seasons now. It's like family. It's about these 6 characters who have to do some community service, and they're kind of like lovable mischief. And it's pretty funny. It's a mainstream thing in the British sense, huh? Like in the US.
Yeah, I like the way you say that. You know, in a British sense. You know, what do you mean? But not in any other sense.
Yeah.
And I don't.
Yeah,
it's not.
Like, when here in Sweden, comedy is very politically correct. So sometimes my sister, she lives in Sweden as well, and sometimes we watch a French comedy, and we're like, "Ooh, this could never be done here." Like they would never allow that. Like because in France, the humor is very nasty. Like and kind of dated in a way. Often we like to band together. We identify a target, like the people who like the vegetarians, the people who live in the north, and then we make fun of them all together, like strength in numbers. So pretty nasty. But sometimes it can be actually revealing as well.
Yeah.
See, I didn't.
I can't say I've ever seen any Swedish sitcom.
No.
Oh, there was actually one pretty fun, which was about like an American marrying to a Swedish woman and moving there and trying to adapt to Sweden. So it was like the basic cultural clash, and it was like a mainstream thing, but like it was actually pretty funny.
To adapt to Sweden. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, those sort of things often work, don't they? You know, clash of cultures.
Yeah. For sitcom, it's
yeah.
It's like the again, like The Office, they did the American version. Like so many British ones. Like, what was that about? That like completely dysfunctional family that is trying to survive to the modern world and to the new roles and administration. Shameless.
Oh yeah, Shameless. Yeah, I know.
Right.
I never really took to it, but I know you mean.
No, I didn't.
No.
I mean, I didn't like Friends from America. I just thought, what's funny about that? The Big Bang Theory was just awful.
Yeah. I mean, I really like Cheers, though.
Yeah, Cheers. Yeah.
And then Frasier was pretty good as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, I love Frasier.
Frasier's brilliant. Yeah, The Royal Family was a unique comedy because it was about a family sitting in front of a telly.
Yeah.
And they'd say, "What you have for your tea?" Which is what we do.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think they ever left the sitting room, did they? The whole series.
You see, I like that other one, Early Doors. I love that about the pub.
Oh yeah, that was the guy who was the son, wasn't he, in Royal Family? Yeah. What's his name? What's the name of the actor?
Craig Cash, that's it, yeah.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah, and Mark Benton was in that, and I like Mark Benton, I think.
Yeah.
You see, that's real life. I mean, that is a proper local, that was.
Yeah.
Early Doors at the local.
But that's what I quite like, it's sort of sitcoms that don't have any jokes in them.
Yeah.
It's just purely the situation, that it's funny.
What's that one? Life and Death of that classic one from the early 70s. Life and Death of
Reggie Perrin.
Reggie Perrin.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, the
brilliant.
Rise and Fall of Reginald Perrin. Yeah, yeah, that's it. Yeah,
Leonard Rossiter, brilliant.
he was another brilliant actor, wasn't he? Yeah, because there was Rising Damp. The next thing you did, wasn't it?
Yeah, Rising, brilliant stuff. That
Yeah.
again, lots of catchphrases in Rising Damn, weren't there?
Yeah.
It was the follow-up, wasn't the Army Game?
Oh.
Yeah, it was about Reggie Perrin in the Revolution, and what's his name? Jeffrey Palmer was on that, and there was a great.
Oh
line.
yeah. Yeah.
Line. Well done, that pillock at the back.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. 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 Jeffrey Palmer was great. Yeah, because in Reggie Perrin, he always had some sort of like secret plan that was going on to overthrow the state, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
It was more geared up around his character, but obviously Reggie Perrin was in. And I used to like CJ. I didn't get these great catchphrases.
Yeah. 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 That's right. Yeah. He's when he used to get people in his office, didn't he, and deliberately make them uncomfortable.
Yeah, the grot
with the squeaky little chair that I had to sit in. Yeah, was that John Barron?
I'm sure. I think that name does ring bells.
Yeah, I can't be certain. But...
I was afraid, like I'm doing my stream pretty soon, and I was like just remembering I have a guest, and I have to. Where are the records I'm gonna show that guest? Like, if you like, let me show you. Like, if I can. Like, it's just like a mess everywhere.
Oh my god.
Jeez.
Good evening, folks.
Good evening.
Hi, Stevie.
Hey,
You're right.
Yeah.
Well, can I be a pain a second? I show my bits because I don't.
Yeah, sure.
I've got to go to bed early tonight.
Yeah, no worries.
Me too.
My first one is just a classic.
Yee.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Really written by Connie Booth and John Cleese. Actually based on a real hotelier that John met during his Python days when they were writing. And there's some stuff in here that actually happened. You literally took the bits. Absolutely brilliant series. Made only 2, but brilliant. And this is the remastered version. So it's all great. It's got some great interviews with all the main characters.
Yeah. What's your favourite episode, Ian?
Oh, I think I like the one with the dead body because it's a proper farce.
Yeah.
Killing the corpse.
Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant, and of course, the one with the deaf lady.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Communication problems.
Yes, then she. I want to be you. What do you want? The Mount Etna and the Vesuvius and wild beasts. Brilliant.
So Ian, can we see your bits then? You promised to show. You were about to show your bits.
Me bits, yeah.
Yeah.
These bits. Right. Of course.
Oh yeah, absolutely brilliant series.
Yeah, I've got every single episode. This is just the series 1 to 7, but I've got all the others as well. They took my whole shelf, my Only Fools and Horses. It's one of them ones that you can put on at any time and have, if you're feeling down, put one of these on and it makes you laugh. I mean, as I said last night, that A Touch of Class, in the days when no one was recording, 10.2 million people watched that episode alone.
Wow.
Six in there. And you just couldn't do a bit without a bit of Edmund Blackadder.
Nice.
Yes.
And I've got that as well. That never got aired. That's the pilot.
All right.
The pilot of Blackadder.
Yeah.
The guy that plays Baldrick isn't Tony Robinson. The King's Bomb played by John Savio. You know, I say, you know, him was in a. Yeah. Now we're getting on to the classics.
Yes.
Yeah.
Steptoe and Son, I just love.
I've said it before on yours, Ian. I only watched Steptoe and Son for the first time last year. I fell in love with it. It is so good.
Yeah,
Watched it on BritBox, fantastic.
absolutely.
I've not seen the films yet, though. The films any good?
Yeah, I've got them as well, and they
Yeah.
have fun.
Yeah, I need to see those somewhere.
But
Yeah,
to me,
Jimmy. Next time you're on the stream with Nick, ask Nick to do his Albert Steptoe for you.
Oh, all right.
Yeah,
I will.
he's pretty good.
and my favourite, and always will be it, and it's just something special. It's this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's timeless.
Yeah.
The characters, the catchphrases. You know, you stupid boy, they don't like you, but we're doomed.
Don't tell them, Pike.
Don't tell them, Pike. I mean,
Yeah,
some
it's
great.
classic.
It's just classic.
It's
Now,
classic.
and this is the one I want your opinions. Is this a sitcom or just a series?
It's a sitcom.
It's a sitcom.
I think it's a sitcom.
Yeah.
It's a sitcom, Red Dwarf. Yeah, it always has been.
Yeah, people say it's not, but I think this is.
Yeah, it's a sitcom.
It's
Yeah, it fits the bill, doesn't it? It's set in a sort of like, well,
it's set on Red
on a
Dwarf.
spaceship, and it's a sitcom, yeah.
Wait.
Yeah,
Everyone agrees, so we need some controversy there. Like, no, it's a series. Obviously.
It's a sitcom.
Yeah, it is.
And I'm sorry, I've got every single episode of Red Dwarf as well. I'm a big fan. I mean, the ones I didn't show, that the whole Tony Hancock's half hour.
Mm.
On the buses, I've got.
Yep, got it.
Yeah.
Dinner ladies.
No, not got that. Never quite got into it.
Yeah.
All right, I'd watch it if you're on. But...
The Thin Blue Line. I love that.
Yeah.
My favourite character in there was Inspector Grimm.
Yeah.
Hoity toity, arty farty, stop fanny in a bell. And I like the Yes Minister, and that was, and I love that the modern one, the thick of it.
Yeah.
Which was brilliant. I mean, the character Peter Capaldi's character of Malcolm Tucker is just a legend.
It is. That's another one where the film isn't that good.
No,
but the sitcom is brilliant.
Yeah, and then you've got all the Ronnie Barker sitcoms. Porridge, Open All Hours.
Yeah.
I've got all them. It's British.
Yeah. There's a brilliant. I don't know if it's still widely available. I picked it up on eBay, I think. There's a brilliant Ronnie Barker sitcoms box set, and it's got everything he did on the BBC on it.
That is absolutely brilliant. And
Porridge, Open All Hours, Going Street. It's even got like the pilots that he did. That pilot series he did in early 70s, I think. Yeah,
fantastic. And of course, raises Mr. Britass. I love Mr. Britass as well. I've got that.
Yeah.
Simon, I have to go, but quickly before I go, I just wanted to show Mike and Stevie a couple of records I just got that they might find it a little bit exciting.
Oh.
Yeah, this one is like totally under the radar. Like, obviously, for those who don't know, this is like the guys from Soft Machine, but with some really cool like electronic jazz and something.
Mike likes that.
And something a little bit more under the radar. Someone I knew without really knowing, Kevin Harrison. These are on Cherry Red. And
I've never seen those, Stunty. I don't know those at all.
No, I haven't seen them either.
He used to produce stuff for side projects of Eyeless in Gaza, and it's
right, yes,
it's amazing.
Okay.
So I'm quite exciting to like British music between 78 and 84 is kind of my soft spot when it comes to post-punk, jazz, and minimal weirdness, post-industrial. So yeah, but yeah, have fun, guys. It was I just
Yeah,
want
yeah.
Well, before
Yeah,
you go,
nice speaking to
Stunty,
you. Nice speaking to you. See you again soon.
Stunty, before you
Yeah.
go, the best. I agree with you. The best series ever made, with the best follow-up ever
Yeah.
made.
Yeah.
And I think you were talking about that earlier as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
But without doubt, that is the best series ever made. I watch it once a year. It's just
Yeah.
captures the civil
is.
service.
Outstanding.
It
Because
teaches you everything you need to know about the British civil service in one.
Yeah, and also what's great-
And the upper classes, how
And how
everything
infiltrated
applies this
we
sort of
were
upper class
easily.
clique, isn't it?
Yeah.
And what's great about it as well is that almost nothing is happening for 6 hours. It's like
Yeah.
it's absolutely like keeping you on the edge.
The film doesn't compare at all.
It's
No,
in any
no.
way.
I saw actually
I
I
like
saw
the film, but it's not a patch on the series.
Yeah. All right. I have to go prepare for my stream. So have a good one.
Yeah,
Have a good one.
See you
Yeah,
again.
see you, Stunty. Bye bye.
Nice to see you.
Stunty, have a good one yourself.
Right.
Right. Who's next?
Got anything else to show, Stevie?
Well, I've got I'll have to go soon as well. Mine is very, very simple. I mean, these are only I've only got 3 or 4 things that I was only spurred to buy because I love them so much. I never really buy sort of DVD series. I haven't even got a DVD player of any note. But my ultimate favorite has got to be that.
Yeah.
I think that's the best comedy sitcom ever produced. The best script, the best actors, casting. It's just so funny. If you show this, I mean, I know a lot of people that have come from foreign shores, like Filipinos, Asians, anybody. If you sit down and watch any episode with that, they're hurling with laughter about it. And it's like social commentary as well. But, you know, the cat, Vienna the cat as well. I mean, he's an absolutely genius. What's his name?
Leonard Rossiter.
Yeah, Rossiter. He's just absolute genius. And
I think Francis de la Tour is absolutely brilliant as well.
Yeah, they're all great in it. They're all great in it. You know, and even you know bits of racism are just so funny how they turn it round. You know. I think in one of them he's dressed as like a Zulu or something with the magic bit of the cupboard, the wood from the cupboard he's burning as the magic sort of potion. Yeah, but it spurred me also to buy that. Yeah, and that actually at the time it was ahead of its time, but it was just so much social commentary in that. You know, brilliant. And as you say, the one where they start their own revolution. And the only other one I was sort of inspired to buy, which has been mentioned earlier, the Boosh. So that's the 2 series, and actually in the car boot sale a couple of years ago, I got that for I think it was £1. So that's got everything Boosh in it.
All right.
So you got booklets and all sorts, and I mean, I like them then. I don't like Noel Fielding at all now. I think it's just sort of a washed up failure on a cookery show. But the I mean, just the characters in it and the surreal. I think Michael of Ricefield's records, he would love that. The characters in it, just so surreal. But I don't think Noel Fielding was that. He kind of added to it. I don't think he was the talent in it, though. If you know what I mean. He kind of got a lot of the credit for it. And the only other one that's been mentioned, which isn't really a sitcom, as you say, is facts multiplied by importance equals news.
Yes.
That's the day today. It's sort of like set in a news studio, but only half of it. So anyway, that's all I've got to say.
Alan Partridge came from.
Yeah, with his football results and his football calculator. And, I mean, his acting in it as well, when he's like in the dressing room and he's taking the top off and he's you know, or when he's in the I think he's in a rally car doing a news bit on the rally cars. Oh, I like it. We're going fast. You know,
There's
That's right, yeah. I mean, you can see how he perfected sort of like, you know, the Alan Partridge character
yeah.
during the day to
And it
day.
just ran and ran, and then I mean, if I had was it Knowing Me? I got Knowing Me, Knowing You. I had it on VHS.
Yeah.
And you know, that I would have included that as well, because it's
Yeah, I mean, I think the recent recent attempts to revive Alan Partridge haven't really worked, have they?
no, it's kind of. I think he's just done like a deal with Sky, hasn't he? And it's I'll give you 10 episodes or whatever, and we'll do something. You know, it's not a patch on the original.
It was superb, wasn't it? You know, when he was really down on his luck and he was living in a motel. and the Geordie, you know, the Geordie handyman.
Oh yeah,
in the hotel, and you can never understand a word he was saying.
Do you want a cup of beans? You know, I can put a sausage in it. What are you talking about?
It was a classic. So, folks, what do you think? You know, sort of like some sitcoms, you know, they've really stood the test of time, haven't they? Like, you know, I mean, particularly Dad's Army, but some of them are just sort of, they've just gone by the way, and sort of nobody thinks fondly of them anymore. So what do you think it is about the ones that have, you know, sort of stood the test of time?
I think it's the quality of writing and the people, the characters and the actors.
Definitely the casting and the scripts have got something to do, and this is why they get everything so wrong. They just can't make anything these days, it seems, because they're just, you know, focused on wokery. They won't. I mean, it's not rocket science to get a really decent cast of really funny people, you know, to carry the characters. And write something that's actually funny. You know.
Yeah. Do you know what? One of the sort of absolute worst sort of like sitcoms, I think, at the moment, and it's, you know, undoubtedly it's popular because it keeps coming back for more series, and that's Lee Mack's Not Going Out. I think it's absolutely appalling the way it's written. The way it's written so that everybody else, all the other characters just feed lines for Lee Mack to get the punchline.
Yeah, it's just lazy, isn't it? It's lazy.
It's dreadful. But as a stand-up, I think he's pretty good.
He's a very talented guy, but he's just sort of
but the sitcom,
chewing the cud, really.
I can't stand it.
No.
Yeah.
No, it's like when you take Victoria Wood, whatever she wrote, all the best gags went to her cast.
Yeah. And she had to give up. She said she had to give up in the end because of the interference of the her manager at the BBC trying, could you change this sketch? Could you change that? And she's like, no, I've written it. And she just couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah, I think that's what
they were meddling.
Because her first sort of like kind of what you might call a sort of mini sitcom was Acorn Antiques, wasn't it? Which was part of her sort of, it was a regular part of her sort of like weekly sketch show variety program.
They used to stand like this, didn't they?
Yeah.
So you get caught on the lamp coming, Miss Overall, wasn't it?
Mrs. Overall, yeah. But that was it. I mean, again, and sort of Victoria Wood had this sort of kind of, you know, there were a group of actors, weren't there, that she knew, they knew her, and I think there was that sort of trust between them that they could do something. They could always do something brilliant.
Simon, I think you've missed something here. You could have had a battle royale of the British sitcoms. You know, people come on every week. not trying to copy anybody.
You know why? You know why not? Why not? You know, it's not too late.
I mean, also Victoria Wood. She gave what was her name, Teresa Peake, opportunity, and then what's her name, the one that played Anita. They were unknowns, and they become after that. They got work and they're household names now. I mean, I thought Twinkle was a brilliant character, absolutely portrayed brilliantly by her. She was, you know, one of the best lines in that. What's the soup of the day? Minestrone. Why haven't you put it up? I can't spell it. You know, lines like that. And I mean, Julie Walters in that as a mum was absolutely
Yeah.
priceless and absolute pure comedy gold. You know,
Yeah.
they were best mates, so she wrote that part knowing that Julie would just do it.
All right, I didn't realise that she wrote it specifically for her, but it makes sense because they were very much a double act for years and years, weren't they?
I actually met her other friend, the one that played the scatty secretary. What's her name?
Is that Celia Imrie?
Yeah, I met her. She was working at Milton Keynes Theatre, so I got to see her, and I sat and chatted her for ages most nights when I was on late. She is so funny. She's naturally funny. She had me in stitches. And she was saying about doing things with Victoria. It was like, you know, we'd all go away and we'd come back and it was like a family again, you know. And they says we had a beautiful cast for Dinner Ladies, and she said it was probably the best thing she ever wrote for me.
Yeah. It's sad she died so young, really, isn't she?
So, Mike, you mentioned about the Likely Lads. What would be your other two then?
My other two sitcoms, in fact, both of them have already been mentioned. Sort of one was was Fawlty Towers, and the other one was The Mighty Boosh, and I just thought it was so different. I thought it was so funny at the time. I mean, Stevie, what do you prefer, the first or second series?
Oh God! Well,
They're very different, aren't they?
I haven't watched it for a long time, but
Right. So you got the first series in the zoo, and then the second they were in that weird shop that they owned.
Yeah, I think I preferred the zoo because it was just such an unlikely setting, you know. Yeah. And then you had the guru guy who just appeared to be in a tent somewhere. You know?
Yeah.
But you know, I think that this was because the Mighty Boosh was. I think this is when what's the name from Alan Partridge? What is his real name? Their production company was behind Mighty Boosh, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So he had something to do with promoting that, I think.
All right. Yeah.
So I got seven discs in this thing. Jesus.
Yeah, Ray's just mentioned Sorry with Ronnie Corbett. I didn't find Ronnie Corbett as an actor funny. He was better in sketch. I didn't like Sorry.
Yeah.
Got some stickers.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah. Oh, very good. Yeah. I mean, the only sitcom I can think of that was Ronnie Corbett was Sorry.
Yeah.
When he was like a mummy's boy, wasn't he?
Yeah, and it just...
Yeah.
The best character in that was played by Jeffrey Lumsden, who was also, you know, Language Timothy, and that was...
Yeah.
He was in Dad's Army, wasn't he, Jeffrey Lumsden? He played Captain Square, didn't he?
Oh, that's right, yeah.
He used to call him Bane wearing.
Yeah. I think when it comes down to it, if you could only have one sitcom, it'd have to be Dad's Army, wouldn't it?
I was brought up on that, you know. I was watching that, apparently, even when I was not. I'd sit down with the family on a Saturday, even as a very small boy.
Yeah.
But I'm really into my Dad's Army. I've got the radio series as well. Every episode of the radio series.
Oh right, yeah.
Which is great.
Sorry, I mean, with the radio series, did they repeat any of the storylines for television?
There was some they couldn't do. The radio series was done by Michael Knowles and Harold Snow. They adapted. And the radio ones, because in the TV, Walker, you know, died, there's Walker appears more in the radio plays. It first played by, can't remember his name now, but Larry Martin played Walker on the radio.
Yeah.
And they adapted. I mean, they took bits of one and others as well, because some of the obviously the TV you couldn't adapt for radio, but brilliant writing in an adaptation. It's like Steptoe and Son, that was adapted to radio as well. I've got all them.
Yeah.
They had to change them a little bit, and there was, I mean, the one where they're playing snooker in Steptoe and Son, they can't do that on the radio. And
No.
the episode where they split the house up, that wouldn't work on radio.
No, because it's very visual, isn't it? Especially when Albert's in the bath.
Yes, when it's it's a lot of visual stuff on there, but a lot of it did.
Yeah.
So, Jimmy, what have you chosen?
Well, I narrowed it down to 3.
Okay.
Lots to choose from, but I wanted to pick one from the 70s, one from the 80s, one from the 90s. I was going to go through some honourable mentions, but you've mentioned a load of my favourites already. One I nearly picked from the 70s, though, which I only watched last year. I bought the DVD when it was on sale, and I was surprised how good it was. It was, I think it actually started in the late 60s. Father Dear Father with Patrick Cargill.
That's
really
brilliant.
good.
Oh, yeah.
If you've not seen it, that's a big recommendation. But my 70s sitcom, and this is my favourite from the 70s, and it is technically a spin-off. People are going to think, well, it wasn't a bit ropey, pardon the pun, but I think this is absolutely class. I'm on about George and Mildred. Of course, it's spun off from Man About the House, as did Robin's Nest. Man About the House I also love. I think this is better overall, just for me personally, but I know some people would prefer the former. Robin's Nest, I've got it. I like a lot of it, but it's not really laugh out loud funny like George and Mildred is for me. I mean, Brian Murphy as George, the henpecked husband, brilliant. Eutha Joyce, what an absolute legend. Absolutely fantastic, and I think underrated actress as well. Love the neighbours, the 4 Miles, and their little shit like of the son. He were all right, really, I suppose. I know he got on some people's nerves, but 5 series, I believe. Now then, the interesting thing was, I've also got the film, by the way. The film is watchable, but you best not stick with that, really.
They repeated that kind of midday a lot, didn't they? I remember George and Mildred being on in the afternoon a lot.
Interestingly, after they'd done the film, there was going to be a 6 series of George and Mildred, but if you watch the film, you can tell that Eutha Joyce is pretty poorly by that point, and she died not too long afterwards. So they had to scrap the 6 series of George and Mildred, and what ITV Thames Television specifically wanted to do, they wanted to rejig that series that they'd written but they'd not filmed, and make it about George Roper being a widower. But he said, no, don't bother. If now that Eutha Joyce is gone, I don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a lost series, really. That but I know people are going to be like, oh well, it's kind of middle class and it's it's dated. Yeah, it is, but I love it. Absolutely,
it's a good choice. They were both brilliant in it, weren't they?
Yeah.
Really killer acting.
Yeah, and the writing, which is by Johnny Mortimer and Brian Cook, very consistent. I think it's hard to pick a favourite series because they're all very similar. No one really seems to age particularly, not even the child. So it's difficult to pick like which series is the best. I just think it's quality all the way through, really, which you can't always say about about many sitcoms, that ones that ran for so long really managed to maintain a level of comedy, really. But that was my 70s choice. Now my 80s choice, I thought this was a bit obvious, but no one's shown it yet. Get the feeling Simon probably would. I'm sure he'd like this anyway. It's of course The Young Ones, which is really the iconic situation comedy of the 1980s. Like Faulty Towers, another one of my favourites. I don't own that physically anymore, Faulty Towers, but I do stream it from time to time because it's so brilliant. But like Faulty Towers, only 2 series. This is the fairly recent. It came out, it would have been 2022, I think, 40th anniversary Blu-ray. I don't know if anyone else has got this particular edition, but they've cleaned it up. In fact, in a way, because The Young Ones, it's so it's like that sort of dirty and grimy sort of look. Yeah. In a way, it looks a bit too cleaned up now. That's like the downside to it.
I know one reason why Nick would love that series.
Oh yeah,
Nick's Final Buddy, the bands that I remember they had.
Yeah. Well, the interesting thing about that was the reason they got bands on. I mean, it was Madness were on twice. They had 9 Below Zero, Amazulu, Motorhead, of course.
Motorhead,
yes,
Motorhead, and the Damned.
Yeah, the Damned as well. Rip Rig and Panic as well. The reason they had these music acts on was so it'd be classed as a light entertainment production rather than a comedy production, and they'd get a bit more money for making the show. So that's the reason why there was always, or almost always, some sort of musical act on. This has got the extras on it. There's a lot of extras that was on the old DVD sets, old DVD set that came out 15 years previous. But there's a few new bits. But I got this because I'd not got The Young Ones physically. I'd sold my old DVDs years ago, wanted a physical copy, and when I heard this was coming out, I was like, yeah, definitely getting this. And it does look good on Blu-ray. I just think, in fact, to be honest, it looks best. I remember watching it on VHS when I was a teen in the 90s. It looks best on old videotape because it's that kind of, grimy.
It suited the time, didn't it? That grainy look.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, I mean, it was just such a dirty and quite revolting and anarchic sitcom, really. It couldn't be made now, and if anyone did try to make this, then it just failed. So the last sitcom.
Can I ask you a question about that, Jimmy?
Yeah, sure.
Rick Mail. In your humble opinion, do you think it was Rick Mail at his best or not?
I mean, I'm a big Rick Mail fan. I think he's great in The Young Ones, obviously, and he was a co-writer as well. So I've got to give him sort of extra credit. I also like Filthy Rich and Cat Flap, which came a few years later. I think that maybe goes under the radar sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, I liked The New Statesman with Alan Bastard.
The New Statesman, that's something else. I think it was about 2 years ago. I treated myself to a complete New Statesman because it was on sale. And I loved it. But then it was Rick Mail. I knew I was going to enjoy it, at least just because he was in it. But it was, it was a great premise, a great sitcom anyway. And of course, Bottom, him and Adrian Edmondson, that was absolutely fantastic.
You see, I didn't like Bottom so much, but I much prefer.
I do. I mean, it's different in a way, but I mean, sort of the slapstick violence, which is mostly committed, admittedly, by Aid Edmondson and Rick Mail, even in The Young Ones. A lot of that is kind of. That's why it's seen as a spiritual success.
I always thought he carried Aid Edmondson, because I just don't see Edmondson as the talent there. It's all Rick for me, I think.
Yeah, I mean, Bottom was co-written by them. That's my phone dropping there. And, I mean, we don't know what went on in the writer's room. I imagine what with Rick having particular experience in writing, some 10 years previous with The Young Ones, He
Yeah.
probably did the lion's share, and it was his bits that that he contributed that were the better bits. But I've got a lot of time for Edmondson. I was disappointed when I heard that they were going to bring Bottom back, but set it in old people's home, and it got this was about
it wouldn't work, would it?
maybe 2011, 2012, and they'd got as far as it being commissioned, and then Edmondson just turned around a few months later and said, "No, I don't want to do it." And by all accounts, it had all got written and everything. Now, whether it would have been any good, we'll never know. But I would have liked to have seen it just to say, "Oh yeah, that was good," or "No, they shouldn't have bothered." But the 90s sitcom is one that I think really kind of is underrated, and not many people. I think people remember it when you mention it, but not many people really think of it fondly. And I think it's fantastic. And it was a series that kind of spun off from a recurring sketch on. It was probably Canned Carrot or one of the Jasper Carrot vehicles. So that's your big clue. I'm on about the detectives.
Oh,
now,
brilliant!
As like a parody of a TV cop show, I think this is absolutely second to none. It is a sitcom. It's got a laugh track, even though arguably I don't think it really needs one because it's all shot on film, and that's deliberate because it's meant to look like your 90s cop shows, and they do a brilliant job. Always love the little sketches with Jasper Carrot and Robert Powell in, on Canned Carrot or whatever. I don't know. That might be the wrong title, but one of the Carrot series that preceded it.
Why I think that worked, Jimmy, is because Robert Powell and Jasper Carrot shouldn't really be together, should they? They're completely different. He's a great actor. Jasper Carrot is a sort of stand-up comedian, and they came together, and the two of them together were better than the two separately. I think, I think it's brilliant.
I totally agree, Mike. I mean, when you think of Robert Powell, you think of like Jesus Christ.
Exactly.
You don't think of a really good comic actor, but I mean, I'll show you how many series this lasted for. I've got them all. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Now, admittedly, by the time of the 5th series, it was past its best, but it's still watchable and funny in places. I just think they were running on fumes really, and they're out of ideas. Another thing I like about the detectives is they had guest stars, famous actors in most of the episodes, and you get people like Mike Reed, Jimmy Tarbuck's in the last series, Jerry Hall, Rula Lensker. All kinds. I could go on, and Leslie Grantham. He was another one who appeared as in an episode. But for me, it was all about just getting that TV police procedural look into a comedy. And I love the Thin Blue Line. And I know a couple of people have mentioned that. I think that's fantastic. I'm a massive Rowan Atkinson fan, but it wasn't trying to sort of spoof anything. It was quite a broad, set in a police station sitcom, whereas the detectives, everything was kind of shot on location. It looked like it should be a drama. I mean, I'm a big fan of UK police shows. Stuff like Touch of Frost and other things that were particularly around in the 90s. So the detectives, I'd say it is still for me the most underrated UK sitcom there's ever been, because people don't seem to have a fondness for it like I do. So I'm glad that there's some people in tonight who remember this and who like it, certainly. This, I think these have been released as a box set in more recent years. So I'm sure I saw it at HMV's website not too long ago. So I would certainly, this is a massive recommendation. I got all these separate DVDs donkeys years ago, and I couldn't part with these because this is a series I do come back to every couple of years or so. It's not my favourite sitcom. It's not even my favourite sitcom of the 90s. I could have picked Father Ted, which I love. What else from the 90s have I got? I've got also Bottom. We've already mentioned. I'll always love that. But I just wanted to show the detectives because more, and it was popular. That was the thing as well. It was on BBC One. It got good viewing figures. I mean, it must have done because it kept getting recommissioned every year. But now, when everyone talks about classic sitcoms, no one particularly seems to mention this, and I think it's a shame. So I'm showing the detectives some love. So they were my picks: George and Mildred, the young ones, and the detectives. Thank you.
What made the detective was
Very good.
George Sewell playing the boss, and he played it very straight, didn't he? He played it as a proper, in a police situation drama.
He did, yeah. They made him a little more of a kind of, sort of clownish character, I think, by the end of it. That's what I'm saying. The last series, particularly, I think's a little bit under par, but generally on the whole, George Sewell, he really suited that, chief inspector or whatever police rank, and the way he was exasperated at Bob and Louie as the characters were.
Some of his expressions, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He didn't have to speak. Going back to Dad's Army, Arthur Lowe, he didn't have to speak sometimes.
No, Arthur Lowe is fantastic. Just this, Arthur Lowe's facial expressions on Dad's Army could have me cracking up. And I've got a couple of other Arthur Lowe sitcoms. They're not on a par with Dad's Army, but I've got Pardon the Expression from the mid 60s, which weirdly was a spin-off from Coronation Street of all things. And I've also got Bless Me Father from, that would have been the mid or late 70s, where Arthur Lowe weirdly played an Irish priest. It's good, but I wouldn't say it's any better than good. But if Arthur Lowe's in it, then you got to enjoy it really, because one of my all-time favorite comedy actors, really, Arthur Lowe. I absolutely love him. I think he was.
He loved Ian Lavender, didn't he? He really got on with Ian Lavender because all those scuffles. Ian Lavender told a story about this. When they were doing that, he just said to Ian, "Ruffle me up, and I'll take it from there." And that's what he used to do. Now, him and Ian Lavender, they did Parsley Sidings, which was a radio comedy, and that was they played father and son, and they were brilliant. And then they did a spin-off radio show from Dad's Army called "It Sticks Out Half a Mile." They did the pilot was going to be Captain Manrin, Mr. Wilson, but obviously Arthur Lowe died very soon after that, so they still went ahead. They brought Ian Lavender in and Bill Pertwee from Mr. Hodges, and that's very underrated. People forget about It Sticks Out Half a Mile. I think because it was a spin-off, but it was radio. That's really going to go under the radar then, isn't it? It's a shame.
Even back then when radio comedy was probably a lot more popular than it is now, it's still, compared to TV, it's still going to be quite niche, isn't it? But
well, there's been some real good modern day comedy on the radio. There's Castle, which starred Neil Dudgeon. It's set in medieval times, but they do it with futuristic overtimes, and Elephants to Catch Eels, which is about smuggling, but it's used in modern day things as well. I mean, I'm a big fan of radio comedy, full stop.
Yeah.
You right there, William?
Greetings.
Yeah. Hi, William.
How's everyone?
Yeah, fine.
Not
How
bad.
are you?
Doing pretty good here. So I was just gonna say, if I keep on watching you guys, I'm gonna have my British accent down pretty well.
You've got to say the rain in Spain was mainly on the plane.
Yeah.
Okay.
or the other one, Ian. The water in Majorca don't taste like water. Yeah.
So what's the
Like
topic?
a lady thrown in there.
What's the
So,
topic?
I understand you guys are showing sitcoms, right?
Yeah, we are.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I'm from America, so I don't know that I have a whole lot to show you guys. We have boring sitcoms over here.
Oh,
You have
So
about
what-
50 people watching it, don't you?
We have a lot, but our television is terrible. You guys have it much better, I think.
You've got Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Well, we do.
Yeah.
We have The Office too. We have our own version of it, but do you guys have? What's your opinion? The U.S. versus the British version?
I think, and I know I offend a lot of people with this, but I really prefer the American version to the British one. I'm a big British comedy advocate, and there's been a lot of, no offense, but there's been a lot of rubbish American sitcoms. It was like sometimes I look back at these sort of retrospectives from the 70s, and it's like, there's like spin-offs of spin-offs of spin-offs, and it's like you're spinning off with some like minor character who was in one episode or something once, and you're making a whole bloody season out of this character. But I think the American Office is excellent. I really like it, but I do like the British one. I know Ian's not a fan; he don't like Ricky Gervais, but I like the British one. It didn't last that long ultimately, but the American one I think is way better personally. So yeah.
Yeah, I know we're kind of going all over the place with our, television and series, and I know Netflix. They got a whole bunch of stuff that I don't even subscribe to Netflix, so I don't even know what's going on there. I mean, I'm from the '90s, so those are all the sitcoms I watched. But I mean, I had something prepared for you if you want to see.
yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Different.
I don't know. Does this count as one or two? I got Seinfeld season 1 and 2. Does this count as one or two?
That's one.
It only counts as one.
Yeah.
All right, it's gonna be pretty tough then. All right, okay. I guess I got Seinfeld season 3.
All right.
So you see a bit of a Cars Gary Newman thing here coming, chaps.
Well, so this counts as two then, right? This is two.
No, it's the same thing though, isn't it? So it's
Well, that's two. I mean, this is 1 and 2, right?
Hey, look, I've got
One,
no
two.
problem. Seinfeld is
That's fine.
absolute
That's
class.
fine.
So
Well, I
This
got
is
one more.
good.
I did bring 3 in case I needed to show one more, but
You're allowed to box it, for heaven's sake.
oh yeah.
it's Seinfeld season 4. So
Yeah.
those are my 3 sitcoms. But I actually I wanted to show this. I was more into like sketch comedy, so like this was my shit. Mr. Show. You guys would love this, I think. Anybody have you ever seen this?
No.
This would be right up your alley if you like that British sketch comedy humor. This is Mr. Show with Bob and David. So David Cross was on that. Arrested Development was a big hit show on Fox. So I don't know.
Oh yeah, I know that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he kind of got big there, and then Bob Odenkirk was actually on Better Call Saul, and then Bill Odenkirk wrote for The Simpsons, and then I think Bob wrote for Saturday Night Live too before he did Mr. Show with Bob and David. But this stuff is very cool. They only had 4 seasons. I'm pretty sure you could probably find this stuff online. But I enjoy that, and then I don't know what you guys think of Saturday Night Live, but my all-time favorite, Best of Dana Carvey.
All right.
So, see, I don't know if I'm exciting you guys here with my American humor.
I love when they used to do celebrity. What's it called?
Yeah.
Jeopardy with they used to have the guy that used to do the Sean Connery.
Oh yeah, I forget the guy's name. I'm not good with the.
Will Ferrell used to play Trebek.
Norm Macdonald did the.
Sean Connery. Brilliant.
No, he did the Burt Reynolds, didn't he? Norm Macdonald did Burt Reynolds.
That is so funny.
Yeah.
Someone put a load of them together on YouTube, and I sat and watched it one night. It was hilarious.
You
But
know,
they had real stars on as well, which was brilliant. It's just
yeah. You know, I was a little afraid how my American influence would. I kind of figured it clashed with what you guys.
No, you did all right.
But speaking of,
No.
which, I do have some records to show. You know,
Yeah,
I did get in a.
we're going to create that cover.
we are, aren't we? Yeah.
The UKBC.
We're going to sit and we're going to do that cover.
Oh, okay. No, I did bring some records to show because when you guys made me an honorary member last week, I had to whip out the old UK punk. So, you know, I got the Clash here. These are both Europe presses too. So I kind of went ape one year and treated myself to some original UK presses on my favorite punk records.
And why not?
Of course. And then, you know, The Damned. You guys probably see this all the time, I would imagine. But this is
Fantastic
a great classic.
band.
This is like some of these, like you really can't overplay because the songs are very catchy. It's really easy to listen to, but you can get sick of this stuff real fast if you play it all the time too. So, like this, can get sick of this real fast. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. So, see, this is like, I kind of feel like this is like regular stuff to you guys.
Yeah. Wire are one of those bands, William, that were quite sort of underrated in the UK at the time.
Yeah,
you know, they weren't that big, and I could never understand why, because I think they're brilliant.
I think in the US they were really small too, and I think it was just that genre of music. It didn't last long. I mean, punk was like 76 to 77, and then in 78 and 79, even the sound of punk really started to change.
Yeah,
started to get more like new wave or post punk. But I was gonna show this too. This is a UK press of this year's model, which I'm not a super huge Elvis Costello fan, but you really can't deny, like, you know, those first 4 years of Elvis Costello, very catchy.
Yeah, I agree.
Popular album.
Yeah. And then this record, actually, this one kind of annoys me here, but this is X-Ray Specs, Germ-Free Adolescence. So, you know, Polystyrene was the singer of the group, and then the following members went on to become Classics Nouveau.
Yes,
that's right. Yeah.
This is
so. What annoys you about it, then, William?
I'm sorry.
You said it annoyed you a bit.
I mean, it's kind of not every punk record is my favorite. I mean, it's definitely a special interest genre. It's fun to listen to like anything else, but you know, kind of on the obnoxious side in a way. But
I love that album. I think it's brilliant.
You know, I was going to say this cover could be
another great one. Yeah, you've chosen well. You've chosen your UK punk really well, William.
Yeah, well, I mean,
all great stuff.
It's your guys' fault. You made me get it out last week, and this is actually, it's one of my favorite genres of music to listen to, but try not to overplay it. So, but last week I was like, I got to get these records out. So, but this is, you know, I don't know, they're kind of covered up there. But, I was going to mention you guys might want to subscribe to the Pumping Vinyl channel because I guess if you include this, I've shown 3 record covers with titties on them, and like 3 in the last 2 months. So. But also one of my all-time favorites, The Jam in the City. This is the Modern World. I was on it when I first started record collecting. I got on an obsessive kick with The Jam. So, and it been a little bit hard to get back in that same kick with The Jam, but they are a great band as well. And then I guess I showed the Elvis Costello record. I should show this. Nick
Are
Lowe.
those UK presses, the Jam?
I think they are actually. Yes, this one is, and then either Europe or UK. That was the thing, is like I had I sort of splurged and treated myself a few years ago, and I was like, get all the UK presses, because I think I mentioned last week about like UK presses when you hold them in your hands. I guess as an American, when I hold a UK press in my hand compared to a US press, the quality it's a world of difference. So let's see what else I got here. I was trying to pull out my favorite Sex Pistols record, and this one was a really tough one. I mean, it's just a toss-up. I don't know which one is my favorite Sex Pistols record, but if I had to pick one, I think I'd probably have to pick Never Mind the Bollocks, Here's the Sex Pistols. I mean, it's a tough one. I mean,
Great.
Yeah,
you could pick any of them, but
I don't know. I think there's no contest there. I think that's the Sex Pistols. That's the album, and
so
the rest.
argument. No argument.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
great
absolutely. Absolutely.
We'll let
It's
you off
head and
with that one.
shoulders above the rest, I think. Yeah.
Could we could take a poll in the chat. I don't know.
I think what you need to do in that situation is do like your own personal top 10 ranking.
There you go. Yeah, I like that idea, but I guess
Yeah.
I could wrap it up. Maybe I got one or two more, but
You're just about to show a brilliant one. Yeah, lovely, love fights. Yeah,
but I really only go for this is really all you need, or am I wrong?
well, I would say that the Buzzcocks just released an absolutely brilliant string of singles. There wasn't a bad one,
Right.
and so having the singles album, you can't go wrong.
They're really perfect pop songs.
Yeah.
And I think, this Singles Going Steady is probably one of the best singles compilations for any band ever released.
I think that's been reissued this week. That.
Yeah, and this is one that's good to keep in print, hard to keep in print.
Me, that, to be honest, the reissue.
And then I'm going to shift gears just ever so slightly for this last record I'm going to show, but this is Two Yanks in England. I do have a couple copies. This is the Everly Brothers. This is a great record, which features Jimmy Page on guitar as a session musician. So,
heard of that.
I actually just kind of stumbled upon this right before I jumped on the stream, and I was like, you know what? I actually have talked about this record on my channel, but figured with the being up on the panel for the UKVC, this would be a good one to show and tell here. So
yeah,
good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it. I didn't have much to offer in the sitcom category, but
well,
no, you might
overlook that.
You made some great choices.
Yeah, no, it's a vinyl community. That's what it's all about.
Michael's happy.
You fully embraced it, haven't you? The whole UKVC, haven't you, William?
Yeah, I was going to ask you guys. So I don't know if you caught my live stream on Monday, but I did throw in some very cringe British accents. If anyone caught that, I was going to ask you, on a scale of 0 to 5, 0 being super cringe, not good British accent, and 5 being like top of the line British accent, how would you rate it?
Oh.
Okay.
It's on the spot here. Yeah.
Somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
2 out of 5.
It's difficult because
Dick Van Dyke, William.
Okay.
Well, Blimey, Mary Poppins.
He gave me a 0. So,
yeah, that's right.
William,
Dick Van Dyke is 0 out of 10, isn't he?
Yeah. It's difficult, William, because we do have a lot of Northerners in the UKVC. So, what is an accent? That's the first question.
Well, part of it, when Simon said like I was really embracing it, I mean, I don't know if that's what he meant, but I did sort of I sort of wrote it into like I write humor into like my script. I have a little script since I do a solo show. I try to write stuff in to make it entertaining. But I did try and write, or like I would read a comment as like in a British accent. But when I watch my live stream back, like I can't even watch my live streams back anymore. But I had to see how well my British accent was. And I was just watching. I'm just like, never do that again.
I missed it. I apologize. I think I left a comment saying you were streaming when I was over having dinner with my family. So, but if you want to give it another go, and I can give you a score now if you want to try an accent.
You want me to try a British accent?
God blimey, Governor.
Yeah. Come on. You brought the subject up, William. You've got to do it now.
I was afraid it would be offensive.
No.
No. Not bad.
So now I'm getting a -5.
I don't know, maybe 3.5. It needs a bit of work.
And see, I don't expect to be like spot on like you guys, but I was gonna say I've been watching the whole show, and when you put me on the panel, I almost just started like I think if I were a regular on the show, it would eventually happen.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what happens, isn't it? Because I remember when I was a kid, I had my best friend. His family emigrated to Australia when he was about sort of 9 or 10 years old, and I didn't see him for about 6 years. And when he came back for a holiday, he had an Australian accent. Yeah, so there you go.
Makes sense.
So if you're on this stream enough, you'll be talking like us in no time.
You know, what's funny that you say that. When I was like 9 years old, now have any of you been to the United States?
Yeah,
only once.
Okay,
lived there for a little bit.
Well, there are different accents here in the United States. So here in like the Midwest where I live, they say that we speak very clearly and fluently, or some people have said that. But then you go down to the South, and they have they just call them Southern accents. But I mean, we have all kinds of accents all over the country. So we have Boston, New York accents. So like, if you want a cup of coffee, that would be like your New York accent. So,
Yeah.
You can do all kinds of things over here in the States.
Well, it's the same in the UK. I mean, didn't the film Trainspotting, which is set in Edinburgh in Scotland, I'm sure it's subtitled, wasn't it?
And I can
for the American audience.
There's a section of it I think that was had to be subtitled because they were talking fast and there was some loud music. So they're in a club or something. So I watched the Trainspotting films again only last week.
Right.
Yeah.
I think the country, and that's Ireland, the accent gets up in the north where Dave and Richard are. It's more of a very harsh. They play darts, cards, snooker, and pool. But the further south you go, it gets softer. But by the time you get to Dublin, it's very soft. And when you get down to Ennis in County Clare, it's high pitch and at 60 miles an hour.
Mm.
See, Dave's great at local Irish accents. There's a video we did when we went to Ennis. We did a road trip to Ennis, and he was talking in this real funny. One of these days, I might put that up. Just edit all the bits from our trip. Just the driving bit. It's so funny. So yeah, it is. Talking of someone a big fat 0 out of 5 for that accent. Yeah,
I know the chat keeps trying accents.
Anyway, going back to sitcoms then. Got a few here which haven't been mentioned. Maybe a few obscure ones people just completely forgotten about. Get Some In.
Whoa, that's a good one. I remember that.
Starring Tony Selby and Robert Lindsay.
Yes.
Came out in the 70s, I think, didn't it?
Yes, I remember that bit.
About RAF service in the 50s. Yeah, good series actually. I think we got Till Death Do Us Part.
Oh, brilliant!
No.
Well,
Yeah.
very controversial.
Controversial.
Alf Garnett. I've always liked not so much the last of the Summer Wine, but the spin-off series they did, the first of the Summer Wine. And it's a brilliant window into that era just before World War II, and the camaraderie between the characters, and of course you've got the music as well. It makes this a brilliant series. In my opinion, it didn't really sort of do very well, but like the pilot episode at a time, like cost like over a record £1 million, which is quite a big budget for a pilot episode, and I'm glad they continued to put a couple of the series together. It's a shame they didn't do any more, but no, it's a favourite series, and I often find myself sort of revisiting that particular series. Father Ted, I think Jimmy Barnes did mention, but I wanted to say
massive fan.
Great series of the 90s, wasn't it, Father Ted?
Yeah.
He passed away far too early, didn't he? The main character. Modern classic, of course, The In-Betweeners.
Hey.
So funny, so damn funny. My only criticism is, like, once you've seen a few of the episodes a couple of times, you don't really find the need to keep rewatching them. I find, but I mean, there's probably others that may disagree with that. But funny,
yeah, I know what you mean.
So funny.
The only thing wrong with that is when they went on their kind of school trip holiday, and they said we're going on a holiday to Swanage, right? And I used to live all down that area, so I know Dorset coast very well, and it's so obviously Weymouth. But
yeah, you spoiled the illusion now, Stevie.
Oh, sorry, no, forget I said that.
My top 3, Blackadder, just classic, isn't it? It's up there with the very best. Not all series of the box set are great. The first and the third, for me, are okay. I think the third is personally my worst favourite. But
I think the third's pretty strong myself. I do like it. If anything, I'd say I think people love it, especially because of the ending. But I think Blackadder Goes Forth might be my weakest.
Really?
Oh,
for me personally, yeah. But I enjoy them all. The first series is a lot different, but it kind of found its feet by series 2, hasn't it? But I like them all. Don't get me wrong. But if I had to rank them, I think Goes Forth would be my bottom one, to be honest.
Wow, that's quite an unpopular opinion, that, isn't it?
I know.
I love the Christmas Carol. I do. I love. Christmas Carol. It's just absolutely brilliant, and the Millennium one's funny as well.
Yeah, it's got a few of the. It's got the Blackadder's Christmas one on there, and the back and forth they did. Like, I think it's just before sort of 2000. I think happened. They did a one-off episode. It's got basically everything on here.
Does because I'm not too familiar with Blackadder, does Rick Mail come in on every one of them, or
he's only in a couple? He's only in series.
Second and fourth.
Yeah.
Flash.
Yeah, Flash. What's it?
Second favourite, The Lightly Lads, as Mike mentioned. Classic. The black and white series, it's okay. It's not great, but the return of The Lightly Lads is absolutely fantastic. It was massively popular when it was aired. Just brilliant. I've actually met James Bolam in Billingshurst. There he is, outside Budgeon's. There's a supermarket in the village, and he was standing outside, and I was about 5 years old, and my mum said, "Oh, you know who that is?"
If you're a bit older, you could say whatever happened to you,
Well, yeah, but I wasn't aware at the time. I was so young, but Yeah, you often get like the movies which come out with these series, and they don't always live up to that kind of expectation. But I think the Likely Lads movie does.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's very, very good.
Yeah, there's not many. I think the only other one I like is the Porridge movie. That
All
was
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's up to
Yeah,
the,
that's good.
Yeah, the Polish
Step
movie was excellent.
and the Steptoes, but
Thing
all of them did.
with the Likely Lads, though, it came as somebody who's like a youngster in the 70s, and it really captured like that desolation of miserable 70s, you know, housing projects and things like that, you know, but with a great comedy. You know, it's almost like the backdrop was total 70s desolation, you know, fish and chips and pints and fags, but they were really just so funny in amongst it, you know.
Yeah. Favorite though,
Yeah.
I love this series. You know, there's some episodes on here I have to watch at Christmas, like the Christmas episode, the Halloween one. It's just a classic, but I don't think it quite gets the praise it should do. It's laugh out loud funny. It's crude. It's outrageous. Rick Mail is just at his sort of manic best.
It's basically what I think it's basically as close to being a live action cartoon as you can get, really, isn't it, Bottom?
Yeah,
like it's a cartoon, but it's with actual people.
I kind of feel like, you know, the young ones and the other ones that they did do, it kind of leads to like their best work with Bottom. You know, they kind of like perfected it time this came around, in my opinion. But yeah, love it. I mean, I've got a clip here. I'll quickly show you.
It's the gas man.
Hello. I wonder if I could just read your meter.
Hello, Mr. Gasman.
Yes, hello. You what?
Hello, Mr. Gasman.
Yes, hello again. I wonder if I could just read your meter.
Gasman! Gasman! Gasman!
Do you have someone who looks after you? Could I see them? Because I need to read your meter.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
That sums it up,
Someone
doesn't it?
used that in a parody video recently.
That is brilliant. But I mean, Rick and Aids, they had a sort of they were stand-up double act, and they were Dangerous Brothers.
Yeah,
they did. Yeah.
You know, and the characters from Bottom sort of developed from there, I think.
Yeah.
But it's brilliant. I mean, the episode I really like is one where they're in the fairground and they're stuck at the top of the big wheel. Yeah, absolutely brilliant.
I'm surprised my mum and dad let me watch that as a kid, because it was so like, you know, despairing. But they did, and me and my brother, we were just in hysterics. You know, it was just so funny. So,
one of my mates went to see the stage when they took it on tour, and he said it was the funniest thing he's ever seen on stage.
Yeah, I wanted to go to one of the stage shows. I think it was
They
the
were
full
brutal.
one. I almost got tickets for. I so regret not being able to go.
Yeah, he said it was so brutal.
The slapstick, like Tom and Jerry violence.
And no, you can't go.
Well, why not?
Because I love you.
What?
I love you and I can't live without you. At least not for the next 8 minutes.
Right, that's it. I'm off.
You stay where you are, mate.
No, I'm afraid I'm on my way now.
You're not going anywhere. You're not going anywhere, mate. Mate? Mate? Eddie, you killed him.
I never touched him.
Yeah, but the frying pan did, didn't it? You were touching that at the time.
Bollocks, you killed him. He was dead before he hit the ground.
Well, then why'd you keep hitting him with the frying pan?
For fun.
Anyway,
It's hard to
sure
pick
some of that
a
was
favorite at the bottom, but Gas is always going to be up there for me. I love that one so much.
Yeah,
With
a lot
the
of some of
Rottweiler
that.
as well, played
I
by
think some of
Brian.
that was ad-libbing. You could tell there was a bit of ad-lib in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, great series. So anyway, that's it. No. So anyone got anything to show or?
Yeah, just yeah, go on.
Forgot about that one, didn't we?
Oh yes, yeah. The prologue.
The prologue. Love this.
Yeah. I love Frankie Howard. I thought he was brilliant.
Yeah. I loved how he used to just talk at the camera.
Yeah.
He was the king of that, wasn't he? Whatever he did, he'd go out of character and talk to someone in the audience.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Yeah. I've got this, Ian.
What's that?
Dad's Army Story.
Oh, I've got an audio. I think it may be the audio tape.
Yeah, so this is a book about all about the making of Dad's Army.
Yeah.
Really good read. I'd forgotten I had it. I'd forgotten all about it. Yeah, but there you go.
Is that like Bill Pertwee?
Bill Pertwee, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
He played the RAF warden, doesn't he?
Yeah.
They talk about everything, don't they? The stage show. About when they used to go up to Thetford to do the filming.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is what I'm watching at the moment. It's classed as comedy. It's not a sitcom, though. I think, Simon, this will be, because you're similar age to me. So, do you remember?
Yeah, I remember seeing a few of that. It's kind of like a Jack.
Oh, my God. Some of the stuff, I mean, you've got to have a pretty strong stomach to watch a lot of this, to be fair.
Yeah.
I decided, because I've not seen it in so many years, I thought I'd get the box set off eBay recently. And I've done the first series so far, so I've still got another 3, like a special type thing to go. The tagline on the first season is makes Jackass look like the Royal Shakespeare Company, and to be fair, it does. These are 4 revolting individuals, but I'm creasing at some of it, but some of it I have to cover my eyes or look away. It's that revolting, but not a sitcom, but it's extreme comedy, so not to be watched while having your dinner. Yeah.
My lad really loved Dirty Sanchez.
I think the movie's probably the best thing they did, to be honest. Just maybe because the production values were a little bit higher, obviously. But I've had the movie on DVD for donkey's years. I mean, I enjoyed the first series, so I'm going to get through the box set. But it's very kind of Yeah,
I mean, the point is, it's absolutely disgusting stuff, isn't it, Jimmy? But it's really, really funny.
Yeah, I mean, they just got, like the things they say to each other is what makes me laugh. Well, like when they, swearing at one another with Welsh accents and things like that. That can often be the funny part for me.
Yeah.
Not so much these stunts, but just sort of their reactions and like the way they sort of like picking on each other all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, another favourite of mine, which isn't a sitcom as such. It's I suppose it's more of a drama, children's drama, but I've got to show it because it does have funny moments in it. Of course, is World of Gummidge. I was brought up on this because I think they did the Down Under series in about 87, 89, around about that time. So that was aired on TV when I was like about 5 or something, and I used to watch it. And then my dad brought the old VHS tapes of the British series, which came out in the early 80s, or late 70s, didn't it? I brought this box set a while ago, and I left it with my kids when they were sort of very sort of young. Of course, they got at the box and sort of, ripped it apart a bit. But no, great series. John Pertwee, I think, probably in one of his best roles he's ever done.
Yeah.
He really did devote himself to this series. And I think he made up a few of the sort of the stories himself, didn't he? He really was involved in some of the writing of it, I think. Because I think there was a cartoon which was done as well after this was done, but I don't think it was aired. He was heavily involved in it. Because I think it was Barbara and Todd who wrote it, but he really sort of took it on and sort of made it his own, by writing what he wrote. So great favourite of mine.
Good stuff. Una Stubbs was in that, wasn't she?
Yeah,
she was. Yeah.
She was Alf Garnett's daughter in Till Death. Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, Bill Pertwee was John's cousin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of connections here, aren't there? Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, like she's in himself big again. There she is.
Yeah.
That's got Sherry Blair's dad in it.
Yeah. I mean, what I used to love about that is the way that, Dandy Nichols, I thought she was a brilliant actress. And, they always ended up getting the better of Alf, didn't they?
Yeah.
I
love that Christmas special when they're talking about Alf doing his speech about the stable. And Dandy she comes out with the classic line, "Yeah, you don't get rooms at Christmas; it's busy." And that's when old Alf went in, "You silly man."
Yeah, and she used to go, "You pig." Yeah.
They were wonderful together, weren't they? They
were great sort of double acts. And of course, Mike Booth is the father of Tony Blair's wife, Sherry Blair. Yeah. Which I always think is pretty odd.
Yeah, he was good in that as well. He really antagonized his father-in-law, didn't he?
Yeah. Politically, they're miles apart, weren't they? Yeah.
I did find something else. This was the I don't know why I've got this, the Ricky Gervais show. So in the sort of earlier days of the internet, where he had his podcast with Carl Pilkington. I don't know if anybody likes that.
Oh, Carl Pilkington was a brilliant character.
It's a good character. I mean, I was actually looking for the original. I used to have the Alan Partridge original radio show. So it was like a radio show before it was the TV show Alan Partridge. And that is absolutely belting classic. But I can't find it. I can only find the Ricky Gervais one. But that for me is a favourite, because it's even better, I think, on the radio than it is on the TV with Alan Partridge. But anyway, folks, I've got to go. The other half is beckoning me, so I'll say good night.
Yeah. See you soon, Stevie.
Okay, thanks for having me on, Simon. Okay.
No problem.
Cheers.
See you later.
Yeah, I'm not going to be too long either, because I'm going to go to bed.
No, I'm going to wrap it up in a couple of minutes.
I'll hang on then. I'll stay to the bitter end. Mitchell and Webb fans, not for me.
What time is it over there?
10:30.
Oh, wow. I got plenty of daylight here right now.
Yeah.
Right.
So, Jimmy, I noticed that you have a little thing going on with the wax. You care to enlighten me on that?
No. I don't know. I'm going back months, but I don't know. I think I actually that him and maybe Rachel or somebody was saying stuff about Ian, and I was lurking in the chat. I just said, Ian's a gent. Why are you speaking about him like that when when he's not here to defend himself? And I think Ian might have been lurking as well at the time anyway. But even so, And then the wax starts on me like, oh, British people, why is it your little country's full of paedophiles and stuff like that? It's obviously trying to get a reaction out of me, and I was just no selling it. I was just like, I know. Yeah, we've got some dirty nonsense here. Yeah, I know, but he's a fucking idiot. So excuse me, I know you don't mind people swearing, Simon, but I try to get out of the habit. I swear more on my own probably than anyone else's. But he's a fucking tit.
Yeah,
for want of a better term. And
he's a bloody fucking bloke.
Yeah, and he started on me again recently. But I've had a lot of abuse in the circus this week, and even though I've not even been into,
you've been dethroned.
I keep seeing you get timed out, William, all the time. It must be like it's like you can almost set your watch by it. You come in, and then the hot wife times you out, doesn't she?
Yeah, right. No,
they're always looking for Bill K. I have no idea who Bill K is, but he seems to like timing people out as well.
He's trigger happy with that stuff.
Yeah,
you go into the chat and then you'll get timed out for 86,000 seconds, and it makes his day.
Banner or wrench next to the name, but it's only Bill and Sue, the hot wife, who seem to use it.
Yeah. I don't know. They're always looking for an enemy over there, but no. I was just wondering. Actually, if you could say something to the wax right now, if you had the opportunity, because actually, you know what? I mean, I do have my track jacket here, and I just put my track jacket on real quick, and then I mean,
yeah, come on,
and then I can,
Herkimer, that's me. Yeah, Jimmy Barnes, shot at the cannon with some bullshit. It was. I didn't even see it all. It was, I was quite the topic of conversation, even when I just kept popping in now again.
You can pull it off though, William. I mean, like you're like in your early 40s, aren't you? So
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say if you had anything to say to him, I mean, you get it out right now. So. I mean, just lay it to me right here.
I wouldn't say anything about that I wanted to say to the wax to you, William. You're too much of a good guy. Yeah, anything that I'd want to say to the wax, I'd love to say to his face. Because let's face it, it's a hard man when he's up on the stream, when he's behind a keyboard and a camera. He thinks he's funny. He thinks he's hot shit, but
as a result,
I'd like to meet him face to face because I think it'd be a different story personally.
Well, it's fun to make fun of him. I think it just ends up.
Wax wasn't actually saying nice things about me. Like you're talking out your arse there. Yeah, I know what I saw. I know what I've read. So don't even fucking try and turn it around.
Well, they had a public.
Anyone who's going to come in here and say, "Oh, the wax," he didn't do any, he didn't mean any harm or anything. Well, then you just, you're a nobody like the other nobodies who've been stirring shit. Like the people with no, they've got no YouTube presence, but they're in Rachel's every fucking day.
Doesn't it confuse you? Shouldn't he have at least a third of Mazzy's subs for as much as he's on Rachel's show? I mean, I don't know.
It's all right. You got to slow down, Jimmy, because Hurlmar, as I call him, he'll be writing notes so he can.
I know.
Look tomorrow, so slow down a little bit. So he can write it, because he can't do two things at once. You see. So slow down so he can write.
Yeah, I watch the show every day. Well, yeah, that's an embarrassing admission to make for a start. It saying you watch Rachel's Ghost every day, 7 days a week for presumably 3 hours every day. If you want to waste your life that way, Herkimer, then I don't give a shit. I don't know who you are. I don't even know bloody Brad Thiel is or Fancy Pants. Yeah, I only vaguely know the name. But it could be any random unknown anonymous account, really, who's just trying to stir shit, who doesn't know me. You know,
try getting out there and getting a job. You know, spending all your time on Rachel's.
Yeah.
3 hours a day, every day.
You know, what you are, Herkimer, and what a lot of these other people are, you're nothing to Rachel, you're nothing to the Waxed or Mazzy or anyone who's of any vague importance. You're just clapping seals, just sat there in the audience, thinking that you're part of something, and it's not. Like you could leave, and it's like, well, it doesn't matter because there's just some other anonymous person to take your place.
Yeah,
at the end of the day, you don't matter.
They use you at the end of the day.
One of these days, they could just throw you out just like that.
They do. It happens all the time.
Well, if it's more, he's getting really. Then like no one's forcing you to stay here. But we know why you come in, because you're like a lot of the others. You just want to like stir the shit. You can't stand to see people actually talking about music and about comedy.
Yeah.
I'm a clout chaser. All right, okay.
Well, the reason why I asked Jimmy was I was watching Rachel's Ghost the other morning, and she felt it was necessary to bring up your page and have a public unsubscribe ceremony.
I saw it.
I mean, I have my own channel, my own live stream. I don't know that I've ever unsubbed anybody publicly. Seems kind of weird.
Of a joke I made in. I say it was because of that. I don't even think she knew what the joke was until after she'd unsubscribed. But I sent her a direct message. I was very polite, and to be fair, she said, okay, be well, take care at the end of it. I wasn't sort of messaging her just to cause more shit. I was saying, look, if you want to unsubscribe, fine. Look, I've never begged for a subscription in my life off anyone, be it a nobody or be it someone who's got a profile as you have, so, you do what you have to do. Your show is what it is. I don't even like calling it a show. It's a fucking StreamYard stream like this is, and like the rest of them are. TV show in itself's a joke, but, I've been calling it the circus because, let's face it, it's full of freaks, isn't it?
We have got no problems with you, Dave. It's, I think he's referring to, like, faceless people.
No, I've spoke to Dave a lot privately, and Dave, you know how I feel about how you were treated, and I won't go into details in case there's people who don't know what I'm on about. But all I'll say is you were done dirty, and you're a much more forgiving person than I'd ever be. Put it that way, Dave. I do respect you for that, but if that was me, that would have been the end of it for me.
Yeah, I mean, I've spoken to Dave today. We had a conversation earlier today. Just talk about bits and bobs. Yeah, but Herkimer, you're a nobody in a big pond.
He's doing spy work. I'm telling you.
Yeah, you know what you're doing.
Oh, Rachel, guess what they said on Vinyl Dale's stream? Oh, Rachel, notice me, Rachel, notice me, Mazzy. Oh God, it's fucking pathetic.
It is. And they take little snapshots of things, what we've like done or what we've said, and they show it to Rachel as evidence.
Grow some
evidence of what?
Do you think anything what we said on here compares to anything what they've done in the past over there?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's ridiculous. I do.
Evidence,
every day, 3 hours a day for the last 4 years of shit.
No.
I was called to a dog last week on that absolute circus. There's evidence.
I mean, quite honestly, you can take notice of that shit, or you can get on with your life.
Yeah.
And just one thing: if you go in there, even if you're sort of lurking in the background, you're sort of like one extra viewer that Rachel can boast about. If you're not there, the view numbers go down. I mean, last night, Stevie said to me, sort of like, "Why do you watch?" And and I must say that it's kind of like you kind of get drawn in, don't you? You don't really want to, but you do. You know, so yeah, I'm trying to go cold turkey on Rachel's ghost now.
Yeah, the only reason I've been popping, and I've not said it because I know, like, I've they've said Rachel or the hot wife, one of them. Yeah, I called her the hot wife again. Make sure you report that as well. One of them said, "I'll soon as he comes in the chat, we'll boot him out, like ban him or time him out or whatever." So I'm just like going in like at the start for a couple of minutes, and then like, well, yeah, I've got other things to do.
Yeah, well, you need to be careful, Jimmy, because if you lose your wrench, it'll be the worst thing that ever happens to you in your whole life.
I know. I mean, I'll be gutted, obviously.
Yeah, you'll be beside yourself. You won't be able to cope. You know.
I mean, I'm banned. You know, I don't go chasing her back for forgiveness. You know, I was like, okay, I'll see you then. I'll do my own thing. It's no problem. It doesn't bother me one bit.
Well, I'm going to call you Hurlemar because you're trying to climb so far up their backsides. It's unreal. You're just a teacher's pet. You don't hurt me. You're an absolute piece of turd who sits in his in his boxer shorts every day doing Sweet Fanny Adams. That's all you are.
You know, he just said, I watch you clowns for entertainment. I mean, that's all he does all day. He just watches clowns for entertainment, you know, from Rachel's Ghost to, you know.
Oh, he's covered up with that old pissing chestnut now. You're an absolute...
The Dark Lord.
Yeah.
Oh, we've not heard that one before, have we?
She did you guys get a wrench in the chat last week? She was getting really happy about that. I racked up about a dozen wrenches in her chat.
Well, from multiple channels.
Yeah, I was just bored. I was sitting there. I mean, I'll sit there in the morning just kind of drinking coffee and playing around with my cat and getting orders ready, and I'll kind of watch in and just check in what's going on, and then see if they're talking about.
Why don't you just foxtrot Oscar and?
You
know, we don't need idiots like you. We're not clowns.
If you don't want to be here, don't be here. You know.
I mean, Herky, you're not a very good lurker, are you? Like, there's probably others who are lurking and they know how to do it because they don't say anything. And you know, hello to those with,
for God's
sake, your fancy pants and your Bradfields. We know they've come in and out, and like they did, you know, last week certainly. You know, but the whole point of lurking, Herc, is that you actually do it in silence. Right?
Should be.
It's not worth the energy, is he? Really? He's a faceless dickhead. A faceless dickhead.
It was on fire.
You could be Lurkimer one.
Yeah.
Lurkimer.
It could be if he knew how to lurk properly.
That's all right. We kind of give you a hard time here with Herkimer one. He knows that by now, though.
We are.
Well,
This will get reported tomorrow. So
it's just a number of others. You know.
and guess what?
It's not just him, is it?
No. Can I just point something out? Everyone that has a channel on YouTube is just a YouTuber.
Try being creative. Try actually creating something. You know, it's all very well sitting there faceless, you know, knocking people and what have you. And of course, no one can sort of touch you because you're faceless. Try actually getting on there and creating something and doing something positive. Try giving into the community.
Offer something back.
Give something back to the community. Be a part of it. You know, then maybe criticize. Have a go then. You know.
Until then, shut your trap.
Yeah. Anyway, on that note, I'm going to shut us down, and we'll do all again on Friday.
Right.
We've got Thursday.
Oh, he never is port stream, you lying piece of turd.
Thursday with Ian, Monday with William. I don't know if you're doing anything Sunday, Jimmy. Possibly.
Not this Sunday. No, it's a week on Sunday. I'll be back live. Yeah.
Right then.
Yeah, I'll be back next Thursday.
Right. Yes. Right. Shut it down then.
Shut it down. If you're in Leeds tomorrow at the record fair, do come and see us. Mike's going to be there. I'll be there. Nick Barnett. He said, come and say hello to us. We'll be more than welcome to say hello to you.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. All right then. Let's close it down.